Hey guys, my name is Marley Watts. I'm the founder of Northwest Jewelry, and I've been making jewelry and participating in craft sales for about 8 years now. So it's coming to be the holiday season again, and I'm getting prepared to do all my sales. And I just wanted to share a few tips and tricks that I learned along the way. So if you're interested in learning some tips and tricks to make a successful craft sale, just keep watching. So I have all my tips and tricks written down here in this notebook for you guys. So I'm just gonna run through and share some of my thoughts with you guys. So the first tip I would say is kind of general but also really important, and that is be prepared. So this includes a bunch of things. I would say have your inventory ready. Obviously, you need product to sell at your craft fair. You want to have a fair amount of stuff, and that would depend, right? If you're doing an afternoon, if you're doing a whole weekend, that'll obviously dictate how much stuff you need. That kind of comes with learning and going through a few sales to know how much you'll sell or how much you need to restock. But just make sure you have enough inventory that you feel comfortable that you'll have enough for the duration of the sale. Another really important aspect of being prepared is having extra supplies. So this could be tape, scissors, extra tags, bags, all kinds of things. You kind of just want your own little emergency kit. There's been so many times where I've had to borrow my neighbor's scissors over and over and over, and it just gets annoying. You really want to have your own stuff for emergencies or whatever. I like to have a notebook so I can write everything down or get people's information, write down little notes during the sale. I always take notes on a new style I want to try if I'm inspired or something. So yeah, having just those extra materials will be a lifesaver. Make sure you give yourself enough time beforehand. Have your business cards purchased, have your displays purchased. You don't want to be running around the night before because you forgot that you didn't have a display for your necklaces. Another important part of being prepared is having your inventory list and pricing your items ahead of time. I like to write all my items down, or if you have them in an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, that's super handy, just to have all your inventory laid out in an organized way and price all your items the night before, or not, and price all your items before the show. Don't do it the day of. It's stressful and you'll just be rushing around trying to get stuff done the day of. This is one of the most important ones that I have forgotten a few times, but it was super stressful, so I learned right away. Get yourself a float. So a float is enough money to make change when people pay with cash. The amount depends on the range that your items are priced at, but I usually take out $75 in fives and get a roll of loonies or something like that. Make sure you pay attention to what day of the week it is and the hours of your bank, because if it's a Sunday and bank's not open, you'll be rushing around trying to figure out your float, and it's no fun. So I would say that is a super important aspect of being prepared. The next point's a really simple one, but I feel like people often forget this because it is so simple. Don't forget to pack yourself a lunch or a snack and some water and things like that, because there's nothing worse than being super hangry, trying to help customers, and you just can't focus because you're starving. The last point I wanted to touch on about being prepared is just giving yourself enough time, knowing where the event is, knowing how long it's going to take you to get there. Give yourself enough time to set up. There's been lots of times where I think, it'll only take me an hour, and then I'm scrambling at the end, and you're just not in the right headspace then to talk to customers. So make sure you figure out all those things, have a map on how to get there easily, and try to figure out where parking is ahead of time so you're not in a time crunch while you're trying to get to your event. Can you tell I'm a little bit of a stress case? Being prepared is super important to me. Definitely helps relieve stress and anxiety the day of the event. So my next tip is to promote yourself and the event. Now, oftentimes coordinators will have already set up a Facebook event for their craft sale. So the first thing you want to do is invite all your friends and family to the Facebook event so they know when it's happening and they can find all the details out about the event. Next, you want to promote through all your own social media. So for me, I use Instagram, my personal Facebook, my artist Facebook page, my personal website, my Etsy page, and there's features on Etsy where you can add your next event, Twitter, Tumblr, all kinds of social media. Anywhere where anyone's following you, it's good to just put the details in there. I like to make little promotional images that I can post on any of my social media. I use PicMonkey, and you can just put something like upcoming sales with a nice little picture and all the details, the dates and times of the sales, and just you can post that on your social media. It looks nice and it's a great way to promote yourself. The impact of learning to promote yourself through social media is huge. It's something so important that has helped me grow my business so much. Maybe I'll make a video one day on how to use these various social media platforms on how to promote yourself as an artist because it is extremely useful. So these next points are all about pricing your work and money related stuff. Now most people find pricing their work quite difficult. I have learned the formula materials times 3 plus your hourly wage. Now that formula can obviously be changed slightly. That would give you your retail price. There are retail prices and there are wholesale prices, but that's a whole other video altogether as well. You can find more information about it online. I also use the market price to dictate a little bit on how I mark my items. I like to use Etsy and compare and see what else is out there. So say I'm making a sterling silver amethyst ring. I'll search sterling silver amethyst ring and find styles that are, similar or within like the same range as mine and kind of just make an average out of that formula, my material cost and the time that it took me to make it, as well as the general market price that those similar items are marked at. So once you have your prices figured out, you're going to want to tag your work for your craft sale. Now, I used to not tag any of my work. I thought that it gave me the opportunity to chat with people about the piece more, and I did that for years, and it was fine, but one day I decided I'm going to try tags. I found myself kind of sometimes getting overwhelmed at my booth, and I wasn't able to talk to everybody all at the same time, so I decided I was going to give tags a try, and I felt like they worked way better. Tags just make it a way easier shopping experience. When I go to a store, I want to see how much an item costs because if it's not in my budget, I'm not going to buy something that's over my budget. So it allows people to just make a quick call on whether or not they still want to look at your piece. For me, I found it helpful when I was getting really busy at my booth. If I'm talking to one person and we're getting into an intense conversation or something, somebody else who comes along and can just look at the price of something, if they know they want it right away, they can just be like, "Excuse me, I would like to go for this piece." And it's like, perfect, no problem. It's no people having to stand around awkwardly waiting until you're done chatting with the other customer until they can be helped. I also like using tags and signs for promoting certain items. So sometimes at craft sales, I'll do, one wire wrapped ring for $15 or 2 for $25. And I found that has had a lot of success. It allows a better deal for the customer and it allows for you to make a little bit more money. Another super important point is to take credit card. Now, this was something I also took a long time to adjust to. I had only taken cash at craft fairs for years, and I was almost against using new technology just because I was scared of changing. But finally, a friend of mine convinced me to get the Square card reader. So it just looks like this, and it plugs into your phone. It is free to order offline, but they do take a small percentage of your sales. But honestly, without this little guy, I would have lost so many sales over the years. There's also a bunch of other card readers that I've just recently heard of. One is through PayPal, and I'm pretty sure Etsy is coming out with one as well. I don't really know the details on those ones, but I'm sure there's still good options to look into. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is display, which is actually a really fun part. For me, personally, my display has been one of the more challenging aspects of doing craft fairs because of my situation. I live between two cities and I travel a lot. So I need to be able to fit everything into a rolling suitcase so I can take it back and forth between the places I live. And in one of the cities that I live in, I don't have a vehicle. So I have to be able to walk with my display. So something that I have come to learn that is important is just do the best with what you can. Your setup can be super simple and you can just let your work shine through, or you can have a super intricate display, and that's cool too. You just have to do the best you can with what you got. So when it comes to your display, I think it's important to have a clear vision. I think it's important to have something that enhances your work and not distracts from your work. Now, how you come up with that is totally up to you, and that's kind of the fun part about being a creative person, is that you can get just as creative with your display as you do with your work. So you can add a banner and have different levels and, pick out an interesting tablecloth and have other props that go with your work. There's lots of traditional opinions about what display should be that I feel like I've noticed and have also talked about in various forums. Like some people hate using dark fabric, or you should only use light displays so your work pops. But again, I just think you should just do what makes you happy and what you think complements your work, because you really want your personality and your style to shine through. For me, I'll show you guys one of my kind of blankets that I use to cover a table. So some people might think like something like this is cringeworthy because it's too distracting. But I love this tablecloth and I get lots of compliments on it and it goes with my work. So I just throw this over the table with another more simple dark one over top. So it's not just this all over the table, because you wouldn't be able to see a little thing of jewelry on there. But this is something that makes me happy, and I think it makes my display look beautiful. Another fun thing that I have done in the past with my booth is include freebies. So just something small. For me, I like to make some stickers with images of my work and my website on them, and people can just take them if they want. It helps draw people into your table, and it helps people remember you. One of my neighbors at a past craft sale, he had a bunch of candy. His display was actually an old vintage candy booth with tons of candy in it. Oh, sorry, my cat's meowing. But yeah, he had an old vintage candy display. So he put all this candy in the bottom, and it invited a lot of interesting conversation, and it brought people to his work, and it was really, really fun. One last thing that I wanted to touch on is business cards, which I kind of mentioned before, but it's really important to have your business cards clearly displayed on your table. Besides being handy for people getting in touch with you, viewing your work on your website and things like that, I've also had people at larger sales grab a business card just as they're doing the rounds of a big sale so they can see everything before they decide on a final purchase. But when they have that card, they can remember, like, oh yeah, I remember that girl with the crystal jewelry, and I'm going to go back there after I do the rounds. So now on to the next section, which is being inviting to your table and saying hello to everyone. This is one of the most important aspects of selling at a craft sale. Saying hi opens up your energy to the customer. Instead of being closed off, people now feel comfortable in talking to you. I like to even say more than just say hi. I pretty much always say like, hey, how's it going? Because a lot of people will be saying hi to this customer as they walk around a craft sale. So instead of just saying generic like hello, asking someone like, how's your day? Or are you enjoying the fair? it kind of allows for a more genuine connection, and I find that that's really important to me. Just try to visualize how awkward it is from the perspective of a customer if they're looking at a table that's right in front of you and you're just sitting there awkwardly. That is not giving off a very inviting energy. Instead of just saying hi too, there's lots of other ways to make a connection. Like, I like giving people genuine compliments. I don't just compliment every single person like, I like your watch, I like your shirt, I like your whatever. I actually, if it's somebody's wearing a cool outfit that I like, or, you know, I like their lipstick color, or they have their dog with them or something, then, you know, you can actually give a genuine compliment, and it's really nice. I also like to offer information about my work. So if somebody's looking at a ring and they're kind of looking at it, I just go, oh, that stone, just so you know, is amber, or, you know, this ring was handmade in sterling silver, and, you know, it won't tarnish your skin. So if you just offer a little bit of information about something that they're already kind of interested in, that's a really good thing to do. This is all just the subtle art of having social skills, really. You also don't want to go too far in the other direction where you're being so intense because you're nervous about making a sale. And I'm sure I've been guilty about this in the past. Someone looks at something and you really, really want to make that sale. So you kind of come across as almost a little bit desperate. You just need to relax, be yourself. Really, like I've said, try to make genuine connections with people, and people will be interested in exploring your work. So moving on to my next point, packaging. So you finally made a sale, yay! And your customer is ready to take their piece home with them. You want to have packaging to prevent loss, damage, depending on what your piece is. If you're selling prints, you want a plastic sleeve so it doesn't get wet, or, a little gift bag or box for jewelry or whatever so it doesn't get squished. You also want it to be easy for the customer to continue shopping around with ease while they have your item. So like your display, your packaging can be just as creative. You can go as simple or as crazy as you want. You can be on the simple end and just have like a brown paper bag with a stamp on it, or you can have a paper wrapped wooden beautiful box with like dried flowers inside and a ribbon with like a sprig of rosemary or whatever. People do all kinds of different things. I also like to use packaging as another opportunity to promote my work. Like I was saying before, if you wanted to do the paper bag with a stamp on it, you could stamp your website on there. I always include a business card in the bag with every purchase, and this way your customer can, look up your information and see your website and, check out your Etsy. I like to offer a discount code sometimes as well, and then that way they can, get a discount on their next purchase, and who knows, maybe down the line this person will email you and, ask for a custom piece or something like that. So it's just a really good way to stay connected with your customer and keep your name out there. And the last point, but not least, is to connect with your neighbors and the coordinators. This is one of my favorite parts of craft sales, is becoming involved in this artistic community, networking, making connections. I've made really great friends from craft sales down the line, and it's awesome to expand that community of friends with similar interests. These people can help you stay up to date with like the newest sales. Friends have given me really cool opportunities to like collaborate and stuff like that. And if you just sit there and ignore your neighbor the whole time, it's going to get really boring and really awkward. You can learn a lot from each other, and it's really fun to make those friends. I also think it's super important to introduce yourself to the coordinator of the event. There's a good chance you've already been corresponding through email, so they know your name, but they don't necessarily know who you are. So it's great to just go up and say hi and thank them for the opportunity, and now they at least know who you are and they'll remember you for the future. Another thing I like to do, if I can, is to offer to help. Obviously, if you're busy setting up, or you have to take care of your own stuff at this sale, that's totally fine. But if you ever find an opportunity where you're set up, right away and there's still some time to kill, I like to just go offer to help if they need setting up chairs or they need help like letting know vendors where their tables are or stuff like that. It's just nice to offer to help. So those are all my tips for having a successful craft sale. I hope you guys learned something, or I hope that helps with your upcoming sale. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And thank you so much for watching my video. Bye!